Breaking news from the world of golf. PGA Tour Liv Golf announced that they will merge to form a new commercial entity.
We've recognized that together we can have a far greater impact on this game than we can working apart.
12 months ago, the PGA Tour and Jay Monahan came out saying that they were going to merge with Liv Golf to unite the game and bring all of the best golfers back to the same TV screens as much as possible. But 1 year later, none of that has happened, and now I'm pretty worried about the health of the PGA Tour and the excitement of the game going forward.
I mean, Bryson has become the biggest star in golf, and the tour doesn't know if they're going to have access to him.
Before the Masters this year, PGA Tour TV viewership was abysmal despite Scottie Scheffler putting in an incredible shift that not even Augusta could disturb. However, people just didn't seem to care as much. Viewership of the final round of the 2024 Masters was down 20% from the year before, despite it having a similar level of competition, and that was supposed to be the tournament to revive everything, right? It's the greatest tournament in golf. The first time in several months that we get to see all the best golfers in the world compete against one another. It's supposed to be the perfect storm for golfing excitement. But this year, we didn't have that at all, and it hasn't improved throughout the year with one exception: the US Open. This season, Pinehurst #2 gave us an insane final round, where likely the two most popular golfers in the world got to fight out until the very end, delivering with that the best US Open TV viewership since Jordan Spieth and Dustin Johnson dueled it out at the Chambers Bay in 2015. However, that trend did not continue at all throughout the remainder of the year, as the Open Championship was very much so the opposite story, with the final round receiving the lowest TV viewership since 2015, despite Xander Schauffele being the first man in 6 years to win more than one major in a single season. And all of those disappointing numbers are very frightening to me, because these tournaments are the only ones throughout the PGA Tour season where we actually get to see the best guys compete all together. And so I can't imagine that any of the other tournaments will be anything of a different story. To be fair, it's not only because people are less interested in watching the tournaments today, but it's also got a lot to do with the seemingly random switching between network TV and streaming coverage that has been terribly painful to deal with all year. But that doesn't take away from the fact that eyes, viewers, are not watching the PGA Tour events in a way they need to be for the tour to make money. Now, I am absolutely not saying that people are watching Liv Golf events instead, because they definitely aren't. Sometimes their YouTube stream numbers look decent, but I firmly believe that that tour only exists in Instagram highlights and in the minds of those lucky enough to get tickets to the actual events. But the point is, the viewers, the people that generate all of that revenue for the tours, well, they are elsewhere right now. And where is that? Honestly, right here on YouTube. Just about a week ago, Bryson DeChambeau posted a video about him trying to break 50 that has over 10 million views already. And I want to make it clear that it doesn't matter who it was with or what it was about, because this video has nothing to do about politics, but rather the fact that golf viewers' eyes are on Bryson now because of his YouTube channel, while they aren't, honestly, on Xander Schauffele or Rory or the 3M Open or anything like that. It just shows how substantial Bryson's impact and draw on the game of golf really is. And honestly, the fact that the tour is missing out on him in all but 4 tournaments a year is so disappointing for their pockets and for fans like myself as well. However, something else that I've found in my life that can be pretty difficult to deal with is finding time to cook and eat while also trying to build a YouTube channel or just grow my business online. And that is where today's video sponsor, Factor, comes in. Factor is a healthy meal delivery service that allows you to skip the overpriced takeout trap to get chef-crafted, restaurant-quality meals delivered right to your door. And on top of that, they also eliminate the hassle of prepping, cooking, or cleaning up, which is my favorite and honestly my girlfriends as well. All you have to do is heat it up, and then you get to savor the good stuff. It's easy and simple, and it's flexible, allowing you to change your order every week with plans covering 4 to 18 separate meals to help make your breakfast, lunch, or dinner decision making much easier. So head to factor75.com or click the link below and use code ROLU50 to get 50% off your first Factor box and 20% off your next month of orders as well. That's code ROLU50 at factor75.com to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month of orders. Now, back to the video. I want to make it clear though, just because I praised Bryson for all the pull he has online, well, that doesn't mean I only have good things to say about Bryson and Liv Golf. I don't think Liv is great for the game of golf at all, like a lot of people are trying to say, because I don't think many people care enough about what is going on in Liv Golf to actually pay attention to it and for it to give them value in their lives. I tune in once in a while to check out the field, to see Bryson hit a few cool shots and check in on the boys, but otherwise I'm not really paying much attention at all. And I'm also not paying that much attention to the random individual events on the PGA Tour either. I would be much more interested if all the best players in the world were competing for the Tour Championship at the end of the season, and maybe then I would care more about the 3M Open and seeing where Bryson versus Rory or Scotty finish, who would get more FedEx Cup points. But now, I can't get that at all, with some guys just scraping by this season and still somehow coming out in contention. Wyndham Clark has 2 top 10 finishes since March, while missing the cut in 44% of events he has competed in since then as well, and yet is in 5th place in FedEx Cup points. You think that would be the same story if Brooks, Jon Rahm, Cam Smith, Dustin Johnson, and Bryson were all still in the running? I don't know. More importantly, however, all of this is completely avoidable, and it's clear that the PGA Tour allegedly already tried to avoid all of this before the season started.
Today, the PGA Tour and the Saudi-backed Liv Golf League say they've agreed to merge.
All of the big names will be playing again on the same course. It had been that they were only playing in the majors 4 times a year, if that.
We might have disagreed on a timeline, but we knew there was going to be a merger.
The merger was supposed to solve a lot of these issues because they were very clearly going to happen. With less of the good guys, the names that people care about, people will care less about each individual tournament played on tour. But today, again, nothing about golf or the PGA Tour has happened, and we're basically at the exact same spot we were when Liv started, except Rory and Jay Monahan are talking a lot less smack about Liv Golf. Back when Tiger Woods was playing at his best, people all over liked to say that he found a way to peak during the majors, during those tournaments that mattered the most, but he still brought that same intensity, that insane fire to every single event he played in, no matter the title. That brought fans to the events and made people care about watching on TV to see if Tiger, alongside guys like VJ or David Duval, Phil Mickelson, Ernie Els, or anybody else could take him down. Now, after 2010 and everything that happened, all of that changed a bit, with some tournaments obviously being more interesting than others, but guys were still out there competing in most events, and you had a good chance of turning on your TV on Sunday to at least see a few names you knew near the top of the leaderboard. Today, the PGA Tour feels different and desperately needs an answer, because even the events that we're supposed to care about aren't at all changing this narrative. So what is the answer? Well, I say it's Bryson DeChambeau. Getting him back into these random events each week, even if it's just a few of them, can really change the interest in each one and hopefully bring some of the numbers up for the tour overall, making all those guys that run it happier, and then hopefully making our lives as viewers, as fans, a lot better as well. Literally just dropping Bryson into a few events would make everything much more interesting, but if he can also come with some of those other guys that clearly still have some gas in their tanks, like Jon Rahm or Brooks, then that would be incredible. And then I can also see potential for PGA Tour guys to make appearances on the Liv Golf Tour, giving them a chance at the insane $20 million purses that they just give away every week. Now, that's not necessarily easy to do with the whole team setup thing that Liv has going on, but It's entirely a possibility. However, that's not the most important thing, which is somehow figuring out how to make weekly PGA Tour events more interesting to us, to those of us that are fans and care about going to these tour events and watching them. And one way to potentially do that is by trying to create Bryson DeChambeau 2.0. Seriously, okay, bear with me. I know it's gonna seem silly to a lot of you guys, but creating another character on tour that is constantly in front of people on their screens daily instead of weekly like you can be with YouTube, well, that can also create interest in the tournaments without having to deal so much with Liv. Get them on YouTube, playing these silly little competitions, teaching some lessons, appearing in good videos, and growing their brand like Bryson did on his YouTube channel. If you can't come up with a way to get Liv guys on the tour, the PGA needs to replace them. And the internet, in my opinion, is the best way to do that. But to do that, clearly a lot of things on the PGA Tour are going to have to change. Bryson is only able to make so many and so high quality videos because he has time in his week to take out to create content. PGA Tour guys don't really have the time to do that, so they have to be given that time by the tour. It's not a perfect solution, but hey, I'm trying here, and it doesn't feel like the PGA Tour is trying at all. Now, none of these answers solve the actual broadcast issues we've seen time and time again over this year with PGA Tour events, but that's an entirely different video in and of itself. For now, jump on over to this one about the wild rise of Bryson DeChambeau, or this one about what happened to Jordan Spieth. Thank you for watching.